qilasiz? Okay, good afternoon.
Добрый день, дамы и господа.
Мероприятиях в рамках нашей конференции, то вы узнаете еще больше информации. Мы даже будем говорить об эффективности труда. Графика, потому что пленарная сессия с участием президента, она немного затянулась, поэтому сейчас нам нужно собрать всех участников. Сейчас у нас 3 панельных участника, еще 5 минут подождать.
My name is Vipke, all our operations in Turkey and Central Asia, and I'm joined by a very distinguished panel from different backgrounds, from government, from companies, from financial institutions. So I look very much forward to hearing their views. But perhaps before I hand to my panelists, let me just briefly set the stage. And I think the president of the country gave us this morning a clear report of the achievements of the reforms over the past few years. At not always easy times, including during the pandemic times, but the reform process that has started and has shown the first results, for example, in the energy sector, as we heard, in the chemical sector that is starting a comprehensive transformation in the agriculture sector. So a lot has already been achieved, but as the president spelled out very clearly, the expectations are high for much more, and especially for much more investments. I was very impressed to see the numbers in sort of what type of or what amounts of foreign direct investment and overall investment the country is looking to attract from the private sector. And of course, what role Uzbekistan can play as a regional hub, as an industrial hub. So I think there's a lot of vision in there, a lot of potential. And with that, I would very much like to actually hear from our panelists. Let me briefly introduce, I've here on my first left, Mr. Khurram Teshabayev, Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Investments and Foreign Trade of the Republic of Uzbekistan. Then we have Mr. Holger Wiefel, who's Associate Director and Regional Head of SME Finance and Development at EBRD. We have Mr. Jurabek Mirza Mahmudov. I've practiced your name, I will say, so I'm making progress. Yes, I will now go to that. Who is the chairman of the board of UKS, and Mr. Yanusori Sakamoto, who is the regional representative for Turkey, Central Asia, and the Caucasus at Mitsubishi Corporation. So I'm really delighted to have this panel with me. And what we'll do is I'll ask a first round of questions to each of the panelists, and then we might have time for some follow-up questions. And I wanted to start, Mr. Teshabayev, with you as a representative of the government and as a representative of the Ministry of Investment and Trade. If you could briefly tell us about the current reforms that are being implemented to further develop the industrial sector of Uzbekistan. And with that, what your view is on which sectors of the economy are currently underinvested and can further benefit from private sector investment.
Thank you, Ms. Schlumer. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, you are absolutely right that I want to congratulate all of us that we are having this fine opportunity to see or to look or to communicate in a live kind of mode because, of course, these virtual negotiations you were having with the Jurabek, they are very nice, but the live communication never cannot be replaced or compensated by any other mode. So, first of all, on behalf of the Ministry of Investment and Foreign Trade, I would like to welcome all of the participants of Tashkent International Investment Forum. Of course, today's topic, industrial hub, is quite, I would say, very ambitious kind of definition. And what do we understand under the term of industrial hub? The definition of such a vast and wide concept can be explained in many ways. So firstly, here in Uzbekistan, we do, of course, admit that a logistical nexus and of the country being a double landlocked creates, of course, a lot of, I would say, obstacles and difficulties in development. But however, being a landlocked country, we are still in the center of the big region with the population of close or more than 70 million people, number one. And number two, the population growth rate in this region is extremely high. So within 5 to 10 years, I guess all the economic projections under which the investment projects started today will be completely obsolete. So, secondly, I would say that coming again from the geographical location, Uzbekistan is the country with the population, half of which is the young people under 18 years. So within, say, 5 to 10 years, they will be creating a huge new demand on the products, services, both in the country and in the region. Also, we have to say that comparatively to other regions, we have very competitive labor price. This is again one of the factors which can be said that enhances the idea of Uzbekistan becoming the regional industrial hub. And the last consideration is that actually we are putting a lot of efforts last 3 to 4 years in development of infrastructure. That's actually the main, I guess, story about the any investment project to be successful. So, in general terms, the investment policy in terms of the industries are the following: that we aim on the establishing of complete value chains from up to downstream with the production of high value added end goods. We believe manufacturing as a key part of the industry plays an important role in both advanced and development economies. The manufacturing sector permanently developing, bringing new opportunities and challenges to business leaders and policymakers. So many currently, again, we see that this COVID story resulted that many supply chains broken and interrupted, and we believe it's right time for Uzbekistan to to develop its manufacturing industry. Especially we noted that, for instance, in the pharmaceutical sector, the total imports of Uzbekistan are exceeding $1.2 billion of import pharma products, and it was quite difficult to study. I'm recalling on these COVID months to find free, say, quantities of any pharma products. Developing of manufacturing industry will ensure the leap from the subsistence of agriculture to source of innovation and competitiveness, making outsized contribution to research and development, exports and productivity growth. Furthermore, development of manufacturing industry provides opportunities for more services supporting its operations. Today, manufacturing industry accounts up from 20 to 35% of GDP and up to 24% of employment in various economies. So we take this as a kind of a development challenge for next 3 to 5 years for our country. At the same time, development of manufacturing industries require a serious investment in research and development and engineering. Uzbekistan needs well-qualified computer-savvy factory workers and agile managers, complex global supply chains. Most definitely we will face, of course, the force of the global competition, which pushes advanced economies to specialize in activities requiring more skills. Thus, two key priorities we see, both for governments and businesses. These are the education and, of course, development of skills. In addition of supporting ongoing efforts to improve public education, we have a number of higher education schools, universities, which are opened last 3 years here in Uzbekistan. So here we are trying to solve the lack of nice engineers we were experiencing. So the largest segment by output includes industries such as automobile industry, chemicals, electronics, and, as I said, pharmaceuticals. So the second largest segment in the region is the processing, which includes the industries such as printing and food and beverages. For the Uzbek government, supporting manufacturing industries and competing globally means that policy must be grounded in the comprehensive understanding of diverse industry segments in a national as well as regional economy, as well as wider trends affecting them. So this includes, among other issues, issues related to energy costs, again, location decisions, innovation, increasing export volumes, and destinations investing in a modern infrastructure. The Uzbek government is to position itself in the regional and world economy, established special economic zones, and the focus of these special economic zones was attracting foreign direct investments and promotion of high value-added exports. As of today, we have 21 such zones, out of which 12 are special industrial zones, with the most prominent in Nawai, you know that, probably, and Jizak regions. Also, I should note the renowned Technopark in Tashkent. Also, I would like to note that have more than 400 so-called small industrial zones. As of today, they are implementing more than 500 projects with the total cost of close to $3 billion. So, briefly, that's what I would like to say about our vision, how the country should become an industrial hub of Central Asia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you gave us a good overview of the, let's say, potential ingredients, the endowments, the vision. So I have some ideas. I might come back to you later on some follow-up questions, but perhaps I would like to turn next to Mr. Jurabek and focus especially on the chemical sector, which is a very important sector, the chemicals industry in the country. And we know that in the chemical industry, in accordance with the resolution of the President of Uzbekistan, it is planned to create 6 technological chemical clusters for the production of high-value added products in different territories. I think it was just referred to. So with this in mind, Mr. Jurabek, it would be interesting if you could talk about what you see as the role of the private sector in these projects and what results and effects could be expected, especially since the sector is right now quite state-dominated. So some idea what the government is doing to share with the audience at this investment forum, what the government is doing to ensure a level playing field for private investors.
Thank you, Ms. Slomer. First of all, I would like to thank you and the IFC team for the work which we have done last year, especially for transformation of chemical industry. We had a lot of discussions, and among them definitely was further development. On private sector, I will stop later. Regarding the technological clusters, yes, indeed, we're working now on several areas. Why? Because considering the specialty of the industry, it requires, first of all, feedstock and relevant infrastructure. And based on this, we have prepared the kind of roadmap where we will have a special technological clusters, chemical, petrochemical, and related industries. First one in Navai, based using the territory of Navai Azot existing facility and neighboring territories. Second will be in Ustyurt region. Why Ustyurt region? There are 2 plants already in operation, which is Ustyurt Gas Chemical Complex, and there is a Kongrad Soda Ash plant. So we prepared projects linked to those industries and their products. Third one will be in Fergana. Fergana mainly using the facilities of Fergana Azot and also Fergana Refinery, which will be modernized, so there will be additional free spaces. And fourth one will be in Tashkent region. It's will be linked with Al-Malik Mining Company and Amorphos plant, so related to phosphor fertilizers and inputs such as ammonia, sulfuric acid, and further MAP, DAP, and complex fertilizers such as NPK. And the fifth one, we have actually yesterday there was a grand opening of this special industrial park named Chirchik, presidential decree issued, and yesterday was its inauguration. It's located in the Chirchik city on the old territory, in the territory of unused facilities of Al-Malik Mining Company. And the sixth one is, it was made, huge attention was paid during the speech of our president, of other speakers. Mr. Teshabayev just mentioned it's very important to have a human capital development. That's why the sixth, our cluster, we name it as a scientific and educational cluster, which will be in Tashkent region, which will unite well, where there will be combination of 3 universities. We have Tashkent Chemical Technological University. We have a branch of Russian Chemical Technological University named after Mendeleev, and we already there is a loan agreement with Korean Exim Bank. There will be R&D center related to chemical industry, which we will be doing with Korean Research and Institute for Chemical Technology. So these are the 6 clusters where we believe would be implementing projects depending on their specialty. For example, chlorine-related projects will be in Navai because there is a chlorine, caustic, methanol processing. Urea and urea-added products will be in Fergana, such as melamine, and further producing. Well, why we selected melamine in Fergana? Because further processing of melamine product we consider to create use for small and private enterprises, businesses in the region, which can be done in small facilities. In Ustyurt, as I just mentioned, we consider soda ash, its derivatives, and also we consider to establish a new PVC complex because we have already 1 PVC complex in Navai. Second PVC is we started also in Navai Azot territory, but even now, even if right now, these 2 projects are not meeting our demand. That's why we immediately started the third one. Actually, with Ernst & Young, we're finalizing feasibility study, so we will be ready to present during this forum, especially tomorrow, this project and introduce it to potential investors. So these are the clusters, projects, and with your technical team, we discussed, we went through all these chains, added value, so we can, who would be interested, I'm ready to explain them. So what is the role of private business in this? Main goal of creating those, first of all, I would like to inform that we, as a being state-owned company, definitely will go for privatization, for modernization and transformation. This is we have this goal, but in what means how, it's under discussion. But already we sold, we have in our enterprises in Chirchik and Amafos, we have already a presence of Spanish Maxam. So there is a presence of private business from Spain. Now we have sold 51% to UAE company shares in soda ash plant. And now we're discussing even selling the rest as well. And 2 big plants, one is Fergana Azot, and second, Dekanabad Potash plant. With your support and with Deloitte and KPMG, we are doing relevant works to, we're preparing all documents when we hope by till end of this year, finalize and bring for privatization. So next step will be left is Navai Azot. And in Navai Azot, what's interesting, based on these chemical clusters, all new projects which we're proposing in different options, where, for example, we provide infrastructure, we provide territory, we provide, we discuss based on this with the potential partners how and what to do. And the interesting thing that there is a huge interest now of private business. For example, if for PVC, PVC1 was done purely 100% by the state under the sovereign guarantee. PVC2 we're doing with the participation of foreign business, foreign investments, where they have decided to go. There is a Chinese company, there is a UAE company from Turkey, and they want to have a majority shareholder. So we're only entering like 15%, and 85% will be by them. There are some other small chemical projects where private business express their interest. Well, one of them already implemented with the Austrian company, Continas, for processing of methanol to produce formaldehyde. We put into operation. Now we're putting additional capacities together with them for formaldehyde resins, and we're putting additional capacities for sulfuric acid, which will be mainly used within this technological cluster as a feedstock. So it's interlinked. Another project, once we presented this program, once we presented different ideas, big carpet manufacturers, textile industry related group, private business, came to us and they saw the site, and now they started already. They brought technology provider from Turkey. Now they want to do acrylic acid production and further to go for polyacrylic and to do carbon fiber. It's what they asked. They said, please give us building territory. The rest will be done by them. Another example of participation of private business as well, based on this chemical cluster, is producing of potassium sulfate and potassium nitrate, and also water-soluble complex fertilizers. We already established a joint venture with the Ukrainian company. Now they want to do the business because of a lot of demand for the water-soluble fertilizers in agriculture, for drip irrigation system. They already started. Another project is for HPMC, which will use the methanol, chlorine, and to produce specialty product, use the cellulose, which is produced by private business in Fergana, bring it. So this is interaction of private business, state-owned company, and produce the product for another. It's a feedstock for KNAF, for the Aziglu. So these are examples which we are working, and we believe that once, of course, there are several big projects, such as PVC3. We have MTP project we finalized with the War Department the feasibility study, methanol to propylene, and from propylene the other derivatives. Preliminary cost is about 1.5 billion. For such projects, we definitely will go for project financing. We're discussing with different potential partners how to do, what to do. It takes time. But other small projects are being implemented. I mean, there is very active. You know, until 2020, there was no private business or foreign business participated in the projects in chemical industry. Now they have this belief, they have this trust. This is not only, there are also different type of cooperation with private business. Ms. Schlomer, I would like to explain. We implemented projects, actually not us, private business. They did the carboxymethyl cellulose, which is, we provided them administrative support as a state-owned company, preparing the feasibility study, getting all relevant approvals. But 100% the company did the project by themselves. Now, they commissioned already 2 lines, and from last year they start even export. And now, based on, and the most interesting thing is that this project promoted, for they're using our caustic soda, they use our soda ash, they use same cellulose, and they were importing only methyl chloride. Now they're planning to establish 2 additional lines, and now they agreed, they proposed to us to do the project in Navai chemical cluster to producing this component which was imported before. So you can see how it's linked. I mean, one project generates another, second project generates another. So a lot of interesting things. So it's changing every day, we're working. That's why we believe all new projects which will be implemented in chemical, definitely from 2020, the government decided there will be no sovereign guarantee for any project or government backup for any project implemented in our industry. So since then, we started, now we can see the preliminary results. Although they're small projects, but giving a very good, you know, we ask what results they give. Actually, they create new jobs, they create new added value, and actually they create new export opportunities as well. And in Chirchik Industrial Park, we, as a state-owned company, providing all relevant infrastructure, but all projects right now, Mr. Teshabayev was there yesterday, right now 19 companies want to do the project there. All of them, 100% will be done by private business, so they want to do it themselves. And they have an option either to rent the buildings, facilities we provide, or they have an option to buy And even if they want to buy, we will be providing them kind of a soft kind of a lease prolongation when they can make the payments gradually. So these are the opportunities we're creating for private business in chemical industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a very interesting overview, and I think underlines the importance of the overall chemical sector for Uzbekistan as an industrial hub, as a regional industrial hub. And I would add that I think given some driven by geopolitics disruptions that exist right now, including in supply chains, market supply and demand is changing. Actually, we see from an increased demand and pressure on chemicals, on fertilizers. So I know this is nothing new, but I think it's very present, and ultimately from the perspective of food security, I think that's very, very key, and also a potential or possibly an opportunity for Uzbekistan.
I fully agree with you, Mr. Lomer. Right now we're working on it because, you know, those projects, these clusters were prepared, I mean, 1-2 years ago we were working on it. But taking recent situation, we're actively discussing, considering different options, and we believe really it creates an opportunity for Uzbekistan to become a regional hub in the chemicals, fertilizers, and other related industries. And I think we should use it, and we invite all potential investors, partners to join it.
Thank you. Thank you. With this, I would like to turn to Mr. Sakamoto from Mitsubishi Corporation, so to hear from an international company, an international corporation and investor in Uzbekistan. And Mr. Sakamoto, if you could tell us a bit about Mitsubishi's activities in the country, and if you could add, I think from what I understand, you know the region, the broader region very well. If you could share your views about the role of Uzbekistan as a hub, and also in the cooperation with other neighboring countries.
Thank you very much for giving a chance to me to talk here. My name is Sakamoto. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm from Mitsubishi Corporation. It's my great pleasure to have the opportunity today. First time I visited Tashkent, Uzbekistan in 1996. And since that time, I'm very happy that I could continue coming here and searching for new business development, which we believe activities of our company can contribute to the development of this country somehow in some sector. And here, I can emphasize that through all the activities of Mitsubishi here, we got the tremendous support and the guidance from the people of the Uzbekistan and also the government of Uzbekistan. And as pointed out by Mr. Teshabayev and Mr. Mirza Mahmudov, we get all the time the timely guidance and also the lecture even. So we really would like to thank all the people here in Uzbekistan. Actually, we put map, which is very visible and understandable, where we are working now and what we are doing now. Of course, it is quite difficult to list up all the projects which we have participated, but those are the part of the current major projects which we are working. So today's theme is a potential of Uzbekistan as a regional industrial hub, and also the role of private sector. That's very interesting and a timely theme for Uzbekistan, which is currently strongly accelerating reforms into the market economy and also the encouraging private sector in Uzbekistan. Already everybody knows here that Uzbekistan's total population exceeded 35 million. And while in the context of political and economic reforms, in the beginning, Uzbekistan is blessed with mineral resources, and it also has abundant young and excellent human resources. So, from those advantages, Uzbekistan can be thought that there is sufficient big potential for industrial promotion. During the 5-year structural reform period, it has continued to grow at around 6% every year, yet even recovering quickly from the corona that became a global pandemic in fiscal 2021, achieving economic growth of 7.4%, exceeding the 6.2% originally expected, according to statistics released by the World Bank. So this is a big success. Here, we would like to take a look over our Mitsubishi's activities here in Uzbekistan. We've been making contribution, we believe, to this country, mainly in areas such as electricity generation and also chemical industry and other social infrastructure. In the energy and the power sector, we have constructed a power station with a state-of-the-art large-scale gas turbines to power plants such as Navai, Trakurgan, and Talimarjan. And also we have launched a state-of-the-art fertilizer plants in Navoi Azot. We have also supplied a lot of compressors for Shutan gas chemical complex or other GTL complexes also. We are proud to believe that the launch of these industrial infrastructure plants has greatly contributed to the improvement of the competitiveness in the industrial field of Uzbekistan. And also from the ecological point of view, we participated in a reduction of the global warming gas. For example, nitrous oxide, we call N2O, from the chemical industry in cooperation with the UKS also. So currently, Mitsubishi is currently working and intensively working with the Uzbekistan partners to discuss about productivity, not only introducing advanced technology, but also including digital technology. So in addition to simply constructing the delivering equipment, such kind of new wave of the transformation in the world is very important for further contribution, further improvement of the industry here in Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan will definitely be running in front line in the industrial sector in the region. Uzbekistan is also actively attracting foreign investment capital, especially in energy and the power sector. Remarkable track record is being continued. In this way, Uzbekistan is accumulating a track record of developing IPP and PPP style projects, one after another in a construction mainly of renewable energy, such as solar and wind power. We believe such efforts by Uzbekistan government to attract foreign investment capital and privatize state-owned enterprises will continue to strengthen this trend, and we believe that the success of this project will open up new possibility. That similar model will roll out in the surrounding area based on Uzbekistan's experience and a good know-how. So in such direction, we think Uzbekistan can do the leading position to share its own good know-how to other countries, in this region, and this will help the growth of the economy as a region. And the growth of the region, especially, we believe, will come back to the Uzbekistan. And we expect such kind of the total growth can be possible here with the initiative and also the effort of the Uzbekistan. I think this is very important. As you saw here, we, Mitsubishi, participated mainly in the governmental project. But this was also very important, and we think we have those project importance is still valid. Because when we were realizing those projects, of course, we involved many local companies, and also through such kind of project, we believe the local companies got new experience and the knowledge, and it will be a kind of the seeds for further development of those companies. what I would like to emphasize here, in order to have a good investment project, there are several inevitable conditions. This is my personal idea. For example, first of all, support and guidance of the government. Of course, here it is. And also the involvement of the foreign companies, which is specialized in certain sector, and also the collaboration with the financial institution from abroad and also from the Uzbekistan, and then involvement and participation of the private companies in Uzbekistan. So we believe through the experience, our experience in this country, through those industrial projects, we believe we could do a certain process together here with the support of the government. This is the main subject I wanted to talk, and of course there are certain issues we have to overcome. As already pointed out, sorry, I'm talking too much, okay? First of all, it's a double-locked country. We have to somehow get rid of that disadvantage. In order to do that, I think one of the ways is to make more efficiency in logistics. And I think here, Uzbekistan, there are several efforts going on. And also, Uzbekistan is discussing and collaborating with the foreign countries for further cooperation over region. We hope and we think the more concentration on that direction, I mean cooperation among countries, will help all the products of the Uzbekistan to be exported, has more competitiveness. This is quite important. And also airport traffic. I think there's more potential for example, Uzbekistan, Tashkent airport will have much more potential to cover more passengers, and it can lead a region. So in that direction, more investment can help other investors to come more. Yes. Since I've been coming here for a long time, so there are so many things to talk, but anyway, let me limit here, and I would like to give my microphone back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sakamoto. You've given us a good overview, and I think for a very good reason, finished on the topic of landlocked countries and the challenges it brings with it for transport and logistics. We may not have time to pick up on it, but I think it's always a topic very much on everyone's mind. With this, Mr. Wiefel, let me turn to you. EBRD is also very active in the country, and would be good to hear from your perspective, what are sort of key bottlenecks in industry sectors that you are seeing and that would need to be addressed for further development? Perhaps to kick off with that.
Wonderful, Wiebke, and yes, certainly, and we do many of the projects actually together with you from the IFC or from the World Bank Group, which is absolutely delightful. The bottlenecks, the main bottlenecks. I mean, first of all, maybe very briefly, yes, we do subscribe to what Mr. Dishapayev already mentioned in terms of the priority sectors, as well mentioned this morning by the President very prominently again, and very impressively actually described as well by my fellow panelists here, energy and power sector, as much very detailed as well in terms of the chemical sector. The EBRD identified as well the textile sector, the construction material sector, the steel sector, and the pharmaceutical sector, which hopefully will replicate what you were describing on the chemical side, as much as food and beverages, which the Vice Minister already mentioned, which we subscribe on the agribusiness or agri-industrial sector. What are the bottlenecks? I think it has been mentioned, and I was very pleased actually to hear it as well from Jurabek. There is the tendency and the will to privatize. And I think that is a very big opportunity for us as a lender, as EBRD, obviously, as well a very good opportunity for us to support the government in this endeavor to get rid of this obstacle, to get rid of this false competition, to make room for opportunities of efficiencies and innovation, to create that healthy competition that Mr. Sakamoto just mentioned in his speech as well. So that is one of the clear bottlenecks, the overarching presence of state-owned enterprises, and we very much look forward to see walking the talk when it comes to privatization from the EBRD side. We're not only a landlocked country, a double landlocked country, as we heard, and obviously there is bottlenecks and challenges in transport and logistics. Wiebke, you mentioned it as well, but it has been as well a fairly locked economy for many years. And this already brings us to underinvestments for many years in many of the sectors. That is obviously now a little bit of a bottleneck. I just heard of a fabulous project with $1.5 billion to be invested, and there's many more to come. But this lack of long time not investing is obviously hindering us in being efficient, productive, employing the latest technologies and best practice in country. Yeah. And then obviously we heard as well this morning that we are a very young nation in Uzbekistan. And if I'm not mistaken, about 1 million people are exiting each year the school system and are going into workforce. That brings challenges in offering opportunities and equal possibilities for young people to get a job, to get the right technical and vocational education, to get the right skills and the right training, to be actually employable and bring the nation forward and generate the growth of the economy as we all wish Uzbekistan to do. We at the EBRD as well see that there's a lack of advisory services, and obviously we're building on this. We have a lot of technical interventions and programs as well, which both do address these on a sectoral level, on a company individual level, and I would believe that is also true for the gender aspect of things. We have a dedicated Women in Business program, which I think very much feeds into what we are trying to do in terms of the inclusiveness of the economy, and obviously digitalization. I think I took myself a little bit shorter than my fellow panelists to leave room for a second question or two. Thank you very much, Wiebke.
Thank you. Also, again, good thoughts to pick up on. And so I think with the first round, we've heard really the different perspectives, giving a very good overview. One follow-up question I have on my mind, and I would sort of open it up to any of the panelists. Perhaps actually, Mr. Teshabayev, ask you, we focused on the different industries, but we also know that the SMEs, small and medium-sized companies, are very important for any development, for the growth of a country, and also usually as ecosystems around industrial development happen, play a very important role. So if there, from your perspective in the government, if there are any thoughts you could share on the role and potential you see for SMEs, and also what was needed or could be done to strengthen that role.
Thank you. Well, when we are talking about small and medium enterprises, first of all, I would like to tell you that we have, I'm just trying to get a right translation in English. We have inter-industrial cooperation fair here. So when actually local authorities are selecting small and medium enterprises producing something. So they are invited into the one place on one hand. On the other hand, big buyers or big consumers like Mr. Mirza Mahmudov, consuming a lot of things for his chemical industry, they are requested to sit in front of each other and show what actually small and medium enterprises are producing today, for instance, chemical industry. And actually the chemical industry on its turn actually explains what they will need in, say, 2-3 years perspective. So I think this is very nice kind of practical exercise. And actually I will tell you that we had, the last fair was in December. And actually $200 million worth, $200 million worth contracts were signed by such small and medium enterprises and big business entities like chemical industry, like Nawai mining, and others. So in terms of what we see with the small and medium enterprise, actually in the ministry we have a special program. We also select, say, again depending on the region, 20 to 50 small and medium enterprises which are producing and trying to start their exports. So they are actually getting 24/7 kind of consultancy services from the ministry. So it's like that, yeah. Actually, it was a nice remark that we have to create what I call the ecosystem for the small and medium enterprises, including the marketing part of the story, digitalization, even very simple accounting also time to time needs to be advised. I'm not talking about the taxation, you know. So therefore, these selected small, let me call them, enterprises, we are actually what we call trying to turn them into the medium size in, say, 2 years' time. And then after second term of 2 years, they will become, let me say, already big and autonomous kind of business entities, capable to export, capable to negotiate, capable to initiate an investment project by themselves, negotiate with the IFIs the financing of those projects, and that's the story. Thank you.
So we need to be well prepared when they're good at negotiating with us. I think that's good, but that's actually what we want. Just hearing if anyone else wants to come in from your perspective, and I'm on purpose picking up SMEs because of the importance, of course, for employment creation, but often we think of like industrial hub, regional hub, more of big infrastructure projects, big sort of industrial projects, but that ecosystem build that includes SMEs is very important as a background. But perhaps just to see, and Mr. Jurabek, I know you had mentioned actually SMEs.
Yes, I explained some, including some chemical process, but indeed, as Mr. Teshabayev said, we work in two directions. First, we consume products or services provided by small and medium enterprise, mainly services, but also the products for which, for example, for us, wouldn't be feasible in small quantities or some amounts. This is where actively working, and government is promoting to cooperate with small and medium enterprise. Second, we're working to create for them the basis. I mean, for example, for the small and medium enterprise, would not be feasible to build a chemical factory or make a chemical production or some polymer which costs 100 million or 500 million. For example, we did PVC production. However, processing of PVC into pipes, into laminates or other things, it's small and medium enterprise. $1 million, $100,000. I mean, it creates additional job. Or polyethylene and polypropylene. Uzbekneftigas produces this, but you know, processing of polymers into the finished products, it's done by small and medium enterprise. That's where we see our goal to make this available for the small and medium enterprise. That's what we are working on.
I think it's absolutely fabulous that we enable and emancipate small and medium-sized enterprises. But it's not so much about the business of the IFIs, but rather the business of your commercial banks, which we hope actually will pick up the majority of the business.
You have to, I'm sorry to say so, but you have to somehow educate our commercial banks to be oriented towards not big guys like but to be oriented to the exactly small and medium enterprises, which will become the pioneers of the industry in, say, 5 years' time.
And I very much like that approach, and we're doing it, and the IFC is doing it, and the World Bank is doing it. We even have a program which is dedicated to women entrepreneurs to do exactly this. And you were talking about the future emerging leaders, the ones that we lift from small to medium, and then hopefully it's going to be our future corporates here in Uzbekistan over the midterm. But what I really liked from Jurabek's first and second stipulation or notes here is that we really need to find a way in terms of how we can better support the supply chains and the localization of the services. And that being said, obviously, not only from the industrial point of view, but as well from the human resources and skills point of view. And as we heard this morning from my president at the plenary session, we're very much looking forward actually to working with all of you, even with the aggregators like yours, actually to trickle that down and to implement a youth and a skills-based program here in Uzbekistan anytime soon.
Perhaps one final question, just for some quick thoughts, and that's if we really look again into the future a bit more. If you think of just one or two either industries or priorities, and I'm saying it on purpose as I think the menu of ideas and visions and activities that need to be done is very big, and prioritization is not so easy sometimes. Just from where you sit, if you could, just in a couple of words, say what you think are the 2-3 key things really for the future, be it about industries, about reforms, and especially in the short-term future, to be able to show successes, to show achievements, what would we want to leave the audience with?
Well, first of all, we seek for active modernization, and in order new projects and all this. But the key issue for this, we believe, this is human capital development. This is without good engineers, without good personnel, it will be useless. We can buy any technology, any equipment, but we need people who can run. Yeah, we have some background, but we believe we should do much more better. So we look for training our personnel, educating our people. Second, definitely to bring, privatization, all these processes its own way, but nevertheless of this, we believe we have to bring IT technologies, digitalization in our industry, in all aspects, whether it's production or it's management system. This is, we believe, one of the key factors to achieve the success. And third, of course, we look in the future for the IPO or bringing to come to this level. For this, we are working now with our consultants for IFRS system to introduce IFRS reporting. We hope that to have a big IPO and to have a good success story in the future. Thank you. And the environment, sorry, ESG is also.
Yes.
ESG is key. I mean, it should be in line with all our projects in our development. This is must.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic bridge. All of the above. For us, obviously, it's very important to work with all of you on the green agenda, decarbonization, finding strategies on the sector level with a big chemical company in Uzbekistan, doing it on a company level with a steel producer in Uzbekistan, and really fostering as well capital markets capabilities in order to actually issue green bonds and sustainability bonds going forward. And as you know, the EBRD is doing 50% of its annual business investment with the green component. So we very much appreciate the decarbonization strategy of the government and will certainly help to achieve the 2050 goals that have been stipulated.
Okay, if nothing else, then perhaps I will actually attempt to sum up, and first want to acknowledge that this topic of developing or into a regional industrial hub is a really big one, and I would not want to say that in an hour's discussion one can do it full justice, but I'm very grateful for my excellent panelists at the different perspectives, and I think a very clear outline you've given on key, let's say, ingredients, both from a perspective of natural resources, human capital, importance of infrastructure, as we heard, importance of developing the complete supply chains, developing, and with this really the manufacturing base in Uzbekistan, the R&D capabilities that help sort of to move into higher value add products. And I think also creating a healthy competition that supports efficient use of resources. And I think as we are all experiencing, pricing pressures are actually going up. So the need, including for input materials, so the need for efficient use of resources is key. And all of it underlines the importance of the private sector and that the private sector can play with this. And I think that fits very nicely sort of as a, again, I was very impressed this morning with the outline from the president in the way forward in a very comprehensive way, and find that this discussion fits very nicely within the different themes and this vision that was outlined. With this, I really want to thank not only my panelists, but all of you for joining our discussion here in the afternoon. I wish you all a further excellent and very productive participation here in the forum. Lots of meetings. Do take advantage of being able to interact with people in person. And with this, thank you very much.